Wales's poor run goes on as England continue their rehabilitation under Borthwick. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. Wales looked lively at the start of this one. We had Faletau charging down Farrell in the 22. The ball then is picked up by Stewart, just about avoids being snagged by Faletau under his own post and almost loses shorts in the process as well. England are able to clear. Wales then get free kicked at a scrum. Farrell kicks it down the middle of the pitch, and three Welsh players kind of leave it to one another before Halfpenny hurriedly clears, allowing England to come back at them. And like the kicking game, I think England definitely won that today. Halfpenny was all right under the high ball, maybe not up to his usual high standards, knocked at least one ball on it, remember, maybe two. But like Freddie Stewart for England was just seemed to always get his timing right, really good catches as well, and then other players in there too. And a lot of the time I felt Wales with their kicks, the kick was maybe a little bit too long because the chaser was, 5 meters or so away from the ball as was being claimed by an English player. So that's definitely one of many, many work-ons from them, not just from this game, from, since before Gatland took over. But England, from there, they go through the phases. They're on the edge of the 22. Faletau, though, manages to turn the ball over, and they clear like a bit of, there was some decent play from Wales. It was kind of patches and players like the likes of Faletau and Tipperick kind of drifting in and out of the game at times as well. England come back at them again, but then they knock on. Wales seem to do most of the tackling so far in the game, and it was kind of between the two teams there was a lot of kind of errors in the game, and it was a little bit kind of stop-start at times as well, and then we might have periods of kicking and stuff like that. But England's forwards, though, they were making good ground a lot of the time, and Chesham was to the fore with that. They managed to, really strong carries, and they force a penalty from Wales. Farrell splits the post with that one from the tee. It's 3-0. We then have another one of these kicking battles. Ends up with Wales on the edge of their own 22. Stewart and Dombrandt, they were getting under the high balls and allowing England to quickly kind of pen Wales back. And every time it felt like there was a kicking duel, like England seemed to have a definite strategy. Wales, I'm not sure whether it was a case of they weren't sure what to do, whether to keep it on the pitch, off the pitch, kick it down the middle, look for space, or like hang high ones so that they could chase. But wherever they were trying really wasn't coming off for them. So England putting a bit of pressure on, but then we have some nice footwork from Mason Grady, a good pass from him to finds Josh Adams, and he's able to kick and manages to push England back a little bit. But then Jack Willis gets over the ball. He wins a penalty at the breakdown. And Wales are kind of finding it hard to get out of their own half at this stage. And you kind of feel at times as well that they're hanging on in defence. England are definitely stressing their defence, whereas England, when they are defending, there's great line speed there. There's really big hits going in as well. And, they're basically applying pressure with the ball and without the ball. And then England finally, the pressure tells to get their break through. They attack off the back of a scrum. Malins goes through a hole, and then they spread it to the wing for Anthony Watson to score on his return for England. Farrell hits the post with the conversion, but it's 8-0 to England at that stage. Wales then at the restart, they win a penalty because England are off their feet. Halfpenny pops this one over. It wasn't that difficult. 8-3 at that stage. England then concede another penalty for not rolling away, and Williams decided to tap and go quickly from that. Wales do manage to get up to the edge of the England 22, but then England's line speed and those big hits from the likes of Batoji managed to push them back. Then Lawrence wins a penalty for them at the breakdown. England then kick up the line. Wales, though they're disrupting the English line well, that's kind of one area really in the game up to this point that they're on top in. England, though, from the scrum that ensues, they win a penalty there, and they're beginning to dominate the scrum a little bit. Farrell, though, he misses the penalty to the right from the tee, so we're still at 8-3, and England are only 5 points ahead, despite actually looking much the better of the two teams up to now. And, you know, sometimes in games like these, you can regret that. Like, you know, a team can get like a lucky intercept or, you know, a penalty that goes away just at the right time, and suddenly momentum swings, and all of those missed chances that you had, or all of that like possession and pressure that you had, you know, doesn't matter for anything because suddenly you're behind. Wales, though, they actually managed to win a penalty at the scrum, trying to even things up there, but I felt that, you know, England had the edge a little bit. I think Wales maybe won a couple of the scrums on the England feed, but England, I think, won about a third of Wales's. Once we look at the stats a bit later on that, but that allows them to have a rare visit into the England half from the line out. Initially, they make good ground, but then England again, they're able to push them back, and like it felt like at that stage, though, Wales were beginning to, I wouldn't say click, but they were getting closer to making a decisive break. You'd feel that, you know, before England were kind of easily soaking them up or even knocking them back. Now Wales were finding a little bit of soft shoulders and just seeing a little bit of space there, disconnect in the defence from England as well. Then Rees-Zammit does find that gap. He gets them deep into the 22. They then go to one-out runners to go through the phases, but Dombrandt gets himself over the ball. It's a penalty to England. Wales, though, they do come again. We have a good burst from Thomas, but again, Ludlam this time gets over the ball. It's a penalty. England tap it, kick it off the field. Halftime is 8-3. Wales looked a lot better in the last 10 minutes of the half, but England were, you know, by a bit of a margin, the better team in the first half. So, and 5 points lead really didn't tell the tale there, I felt, of that first half. Into the second half then, England are on the attack. You know, and Lewis Rees-Zammit then, he gets into the passing channel. He picks off a pass from Max Malins. He goes all the way, scores under the post. That's converted. 10-8. Wales have hit the front. So they basically, you know, come from being easily the second best of the two teams to suddenly they're in front. But right from the pretty much the kickoff, Wales could see the penalty. Owen Williams kind of he does one of these where he's on the ground and he rolls again and gets pinged for it by the referee. England go to the corner from there. They claim the line out, and then Genge comes on the crash ball. They work it up to within a couple of meters of the line, and then Sinclair crashes over to restore the lead. That one is converted, and it's 15-10. So Wales were, in the lead for all of a couple of minutes, really there. Then you can hear like Swing Low is reverberating around the Principality Stadium. There's no doubt who the English fans feel are on top. And the Welsh fans really couldn't drown them out at all. Like it was a few times when the English fans were easily the louder of the two. But it's hard. I know as a fan of rugby, like when your team are doing badly, it's really hard to find that in you to sing and belt your heart out when it's one of these ones where you don't feel that there is a hope there. And that's kind of the way this Wales team are at the moment, I think, is that it's not just that, like, it's not just losing, it's the fact that it's hard to see where the win is coming from. What areas of the game are you on top in, and what's going to get you in positions to strike back and to really, sometimes the fans can lift the team, but sometimes I think that the team needs to lift the fans, and I think that's where Wales are at the moment. Like everybody there is really down, with the whole thing that's going on off the field, etc. That this Wales team, I think that they're going to have to just produce a performance that gets people believing in them again. But from here, then Wales do begin to kind of improve a little bit. They begin pinning England in their own half. They're growing into the game. We see Owen Williams come off with a hip injury, and on comes Dan Biggar. Lewis Rizama then he knocks on a Gary Owen, gives England a cheap in their half. Like it was basically one of these where he looked like he kind of misread it, because he was going down at his toes to catch it, so and then he knocks it on from there. So if he had been like a step forward, he probably just catches it in the breadbasket, but just kind of read the flight of a wrong. So England then attack off the back of that. It's a pretty solid scrum, but Faletau manages to get over and get a turnover for Wales. But they can't look after the ball from there. They can see the scrum in a dangerous position. We're seeing errors from both sides as the game becomes a little bit scrappy. Wales then engage early at the scrum, and it was the second time for them, so it's a penalty. Farrell decides to go for the post. He misses it well to the right, and Wales are able to clear again. Like Farrell from the tee really was fairly poor in the game, and if he had been kicking the way we've seen him kick in the past, maybe England's margin would have been a lot higher. Wales, though, they go on attack. They're not really going anywhere, so we see Biggar puts it up in the air, and Van Poortvliet knocks on. And one of, not that many knock-ons from England when the ball was in the air. Wales did a good bit, but England generally, especially when Stewart was under it, they were claiming the ball, and then they were looking dangerous as well, either kicking it back or running it back. But it's a decent position for Wales here. Ben Curry then managed to get in there and turn the ball over for England. He's off the bench. And you just feel Wales, they are struggling to make that chance to put them back in front. Like it's a 5-point margin, but the way they're playing at that time, it may as well be 15, 20 points, because it doesn't look like they're going to get the score that they need. They do, though, try to go through the phases. It's a little bit frantic. It's a lot of kind of the centers and stuff kind of offloading just to keep the move alive, but because they're doing that, they're not really able to set up their attacking structures. They're just trying to hold on to the ball rather than trying to cause problems for England. They do, though, manage to force a poor clearance from Stewart. At this stage, then Laws comes back for England. He's on for Dombrandt, sorry. Wales, they try to attack from the line out. Faletau shows a bit of good footwork, gets them some good go forward, something that they've missed for a while. But then there's a poor pass that goes to Lawrence. He almost gets away, and Wales end up having to ground the ball behind their own try line. Like, so basically, like, England just kicked it all the way down. Wales had to dull it down. Seconds earlier, they were up the field attacking. England now go looking for the try that will seal the win for them. Maylands goes close, and then they go through the phases, but Tipperick manages to get over the ball. He wins the penalty. Wales clear, but then Wales overthrow at the line out, and like at that stage, it was the third or fourth time that they'd done it in the game. Their line out had been pretty poor overall. England, then they could have scored, but they basically kicked the ball away, and you can see like some frustrated England players like not too happy with the decision to kick it. But they are looking the more likely to score. We see Slade go close, and then they recycle, and Stewart managed to put Lawrence over to score what was basically the winning try. Farrell is off target again with conversion. We're at 20-10. Where you feel like, at that stage of the game, it's a big enough cushion that they're going to win from there. England tried to go after the bonus point try right at the end, but the move breaks down, clock's in the red. We're at 20-10. It's 20-10, that's how it finishes. And then if we have a quick look at some of the stats from the game. So first off, possession, 51% for Wales, 49% for England, but then territory was 45% for Wales and 55% for England. So even though Wales had more of the ball, they'd more of the ball in their own half most of the time. In terms of then some of the other stats, like in the set piece, Wales went 6 from 11 in the scrums, England 6 from 8, but early on the damage was done to that Welsh scrum, and then England gave away a couple of penalties in the game, but Wales just couldn't use that as a decent platform for them to attack. And then the lineouts, like it says, Wales went 8 from 9 and England 4 from 5, but Wales definitely overthrew on more than one occasion in the game. So I'm not sure where those stats came from on that one. Maybe I'm just imagining that they overthrew more than I thought. But then penalties conceded. Wales 9 to England 6, and those extra penalties for Wales really were costly because they were given away where Wales had those rare opportunities in the England half, and then they would give away a penalty and allow England to come back at them. And they really needed, with everything else going against them, they really needed to have the penalty count go their way, but they couldn't do it. Now, in terms of where the two teams are after this, so England, they are improving, but there's obviously still work for them to do as well. It looks like they have the makings of a decent backline there, but they still need to really get it going where it's going to be really impactful for them in the game. But you can see with strong carries from likes of Sinclair, Genge, Itoje, Dombrandt, Ludlam, Jack Willis doing really well to breakdowns as well. That there is the core of a decent side there, but they do need more work. From Wales' point of view, then they have so much work to do, like a lot of different areas to work on. And now they're going to go to Italy, and Italy are going to be licking their lips, with this Welsh side coming to Rome. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, it's Wales who finish bottom rather than Italy this year.